quote-unquote new series. Oh boy, it's been 10 years and we still haven't passed the point of being salty with Nintendo's choices in this era of Mario games. I wouldn't call myself a New Super Mario Bros. Defender, maybe more of just a sympathizer, but I've always tried my best to appreciate these games and be optimistic for what they are, since I genuinely do enjoy some of these titles. So today I'm going to be ranking every game in this series. Let's see what's the best of the best and the absolute worst of the worst. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 5, New Super Mario Bros. U. Despite the constant whining and complaining that these games bring nothing new to the table, most of these games have their big defining features that make them different from the rest. That is, except for New Super Mario Bros. U. This addition to the new series is nearly a carbon copy of New Super Mario Bros. Wii in terms of themes, gimmicks, and gameplay, with the only exception being an HD coat of paint and some very niche gamepad functionalities that I probably only use a single time, maybe not even. Even the power-ups are pretty much a copy. New Super Mario Bros. Wii introduced a stupidly OP platforming power-up with the propeller shroom. New Super Mario Bros. U does the exact same thing with the Super Acorn. New Super Mario Bros. U isn't at all a bad game, please. Obviously it's still a good fun to sink your teeth into, but this, in my opinion, is the laziest entry in the series. It has nothing besides a new power-up to make it stand out, and it's one of the games where every level just feels like Nintendo completely half-assed their design, making the point A to point B level style nothing more than the simplicity of running and jumping. This game rarely spices things up. The only memorable and unique level I can even think of that hasn't been done several times before is the Van Gogh style level where everything looks painted. It looks as if Vincent Van Gogh himself created this level next to the Starry Night, and it's so visually pleasing. Why can't the game do more like this? Was this single level good enough negligible effort for the devs to call it a day and release this mid-tier game? To give the benefit of the doubt, this is 100% the best looking New Super Mario Bros. Game, and the new Acorn power-up is loads of fun. This game even got its own style Mario Maker, an honor which none of these other games on the list received. And the interconnected world map is kinda interesting. So although I'm giving this entry the least kudos, it definitely still deserves a decent amount. Number 4, New Super Mario Bros. 2. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is to New Super Mario Bros. DS as New Super Mario Bros. U is to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Wow, that's a mouthful. What I mean by this is that New Super Mario Bros. 2 is pretty much a copy of New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, just on better hardware. Like seriously, a portable 2D Mario game with a nearly identical world theme and map with pretty much identical assets and level design. God, this series is really something else. I put this above New Super Mario Bros. U though because it definitely makes a much better effort to stand out as its own standalone title. The best example is the whole game having its own unique theme centralized around cash money. The entire selling point of the game relied on a measly coin counter on the title screen. Nintendo pretty much decided to slap a solid gold coat of paint over this game. The whole design is completely centralized around coins and the collecting of. Seriously, they just went all out on this. Coin-based power-ups, coin-based enemies, coin-based level design. It's really something for like a world or two. I mean, coins are cool, obviously, everyone loves money. But you really can't design a whole game over just the aesthetic of coins. With so much emphasis on coins, there should at least be a reason to collect them in the first place. Coins still go to the typical 100 coins for a 1-up, but other than that, the only reason to collect coins is for the coin counter on the title screen. I get it, it's a 2D platform on the 3DS, it'd be hard to implement a shop or something like that, but at least being able to buy storable power-ups or some sort of cosmetics like in Mario Odyssey would give slight motivation to have fun with the whole coin collecting gimmick, and wouldn't just make it more than that, a sheer gimmick. Other than all that coin nonsense, they decided to bring back the Leaf power from Super Mario Bros. 3, which I just learned is technically different from the Tanuki suit, you know, the more you know. That's a pretty cool callback since it hasn't been in a 2D Mario game since 1988. There honestly are very few memorable levels aside from maybe the final boss, and all those really cool custom bosses from New Super Mario Bros. On the DS are replaced with the freaking Koopalings. Laziness on a whole other level. But everything about the laziness of New Super Mario Bros. U can be said about this game, but I'd say it's very slightly better because of some of the niche coin-based attributes that are pretty cool, like the gold flower at the very least. But god damn it, thinking of good things to say about this game is hard. Number 3, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is the second entry in the New Super Mario Bros. Franchise, and despite being an absolute sequel, I consider this entry a shining star compared to the 2 previous entries on this list. After the great success of New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, Nintendo decided to keep milking the 2D Mario udder, and although some of the later entries would spoil the milk, the second entry in the series was still the freshest milk possible. Okay, I probably rode for too long with that analogy, but the point is, New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a fantastic addition to the series that isn't simply a carbon copy of its predecessor. Nintendo realized that the family-oriented Wii console was the perfect opportunity to add real co-op play into 2D Mario, and goddamn, Nintendo hit it out of the park with how much fun 4-player co-op could potentially be. I've always been such an advocate for the 4-player co-op, and as much as I try to respect other people's gaming opinions, I had to say that people who are always whining and complaining about the 4-player co-op need to get a grip. Come on, don't be a baby. I mean, it's just pure fun chaos. Getting dragged off the screen, bubbling, it all just adds so much pure chaos and fun. It's so much better than playing alone like a freaking loser. And to make matters even better, the levels are designed specifically to hold the best co-op experience. Everything is much less claustrophobic than a usual 2D Mario game, making this game's new power-ups and movements feel so silky smooth, and gives you the opportunity to enjoy the simple motions that you normally wouldn't be able to do in such a tightly developed game. New Super Mario Bros. Wii has so many memorable levels, secret exits, great uses for the environments of each world, and for once, the use of Koopalings is actually pretty cool, because before New Super Mario Bros. Wii, we hadn't seen them in a main Mario game for 18 years. So for once, it's actually pretty cool to see them. The Wii created entirely new capabilities that allowed level design to become as wacky and random as ever, and I mean that in the best possible way. They used the generic themes of desert, beach, ice, and made countless memorable levels out of them. I also can't help but mention the absolutely amazing final boss in this game. One of the best in the entire Mario franchise. Overall, it's a very impactful and memorable game that has such a special place in my heart. Number 2, New Super Luigi U. New Super Luigi U, despite not having Mario in the title, is easily the most unique and interesting New Super Mario Bros. Game. Released originally as a simple add-on to New Super Mario Bros. U, day after day, New Super Luigi U proves it outmatches its father game and creates such a fun experience. On the surface, it looks like a mere reskin, but once you get into the levels and the new functions of how the characters move, you'll really see what's going on. To start things off, with the absence of Mario, Luigi physics take over. Everyone's super slippery with super floaty jumps and high jumps and wacky air movement. It's a really fun change of pace from the same old running and occasionally jumping. To make things even more interesting from a level design standpoint, every level is a 100-second speedrun, and the difficulty is cranked up from a measly mild to a flaming hot spicy. That nerve-wracking familiar 100-second jingle plays the second the doors open on each level, ensuring that you're off the races from the let's-a-go. Levels have been significantly shortened to compensate, of course, but the psychological effect of this jingle is strong. Over 80 completely new levels, each one more fun than the last. It's the perfect game if you enjoy a new type of challenge with 2D Mario adventures you're not completely used to. Seriously, getting every star coin while focusing on progressing due to the time constraint becomes incredibly challenging in the second half of the game, and it's so refreshing. As if it's not even connected to the dreaded new series, it's such a fun experience, and I highly recommend trying it out if you initially shrugged it off. I guarantee you will not regret it. Number 1, New Super Mario Bros. And to end off today's list, we have the game that started off the entire new franchise. New Super Mario Bros. On the DS was the homecoming of the long-gone era of 2D Mario and the emergence of the new beginnings as we entered the excitingly yet mediocre modern 2D Mario games, or as I like to call them, 2.3D Mario games. New Super Mario Bros. Brought 3D-like movements such as wall jumps, triple jumps, and ground pounds, so much of the 3D Mario arsenal onto the table, and to me, it's a huge improvement because the little games before were just running and jumping. Most importantly, New Super Mario Bros. Undoubtedly feels like a Mario game, if you know what I mean. This title clearly spent a long time in development, and it's clear that the design team used much of the development cycle to get the classic Mario handling to feel just right. Control-wise, this game gets it down pat, even with the new moves under Mario's tool belt. Nintendo created this game with the perfect mixture of old and new in the pot. It brings back the classic world themes as we know and love, brings back the 8-world system, classic power-ups, and on the other hand, introduces an insane plethora of new and crazy ideas like the awesome bosses, Bowser Jr., Star Coin currency, and a new flashy world map. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. This game set all the precedents for every other New Super Mario Bros. Game. Every game tried so hard to imitate the charm this game brought back to the Mario series that it drained its luster. But the game that started it all is still a shining jewel among the wide variety of 2D Mario titles in the mediocre future. Hey guys, it's 4 AM and I'm editing this and I forgot to record an outro. But thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Leave a like. Peace out.